Absolutely.
as you well know.
Yes.
But that's interesting. Let me just tell you a funny story about Emil Soderstrom. I was invited to Chicago to sort of a bit like a band contest.
Mm-hmm.
They said it isn't a contest, but you come and you say, you don't see the band, but you just write what you think about the band, you see. So it was a contest, but it wasn't called that actually. And when I got there, Soderstrom was there as well, and he was the other partner for the job. So we sat in a behind some curtains and did our stuff. Well, the first thing was that Ernie Miller came in, and so I said to him, "How do you want us to mark these bands? You know, should we say excellent, fair, poor?" "Oh no," said Ernie. "There's no poor bands. They're all excellent and above, you see."
Of course.
So, of course, we're excellent, super excellent, all those sort of words. But when we got through the Saturday evening concert, and on the Sunday was councils, and the commissioner, whoever it was, I can't remember now, but he did the morning meeting. And Emil and I were invited to go and have dinner with him and Ernie Miller and his wife, in a very secluded place, just a few of us, to have dinner. And Ernie thought this was a time to wax eloquent, so he was saying, thanking the commissioner for the wonderful blessing we've had, and you know, all this stuff, and laying it on thick and heavy. And Emil had switched off completely. This was of no interest to him in the least bit. And his mind must have been wandering off, because he suddenly turned around and said to me, "Well, I told them in London, if you don't publish it the way I send it, leave it alone. Don't mess about with my music."
Yes. That sounds like...
And this came out right in the middle of all these eloquent speeches that poor Ernie was making.
Emil was a real character. He used to come to my house once in a while. Matter of fact, I probably told you the story about the time he went to visit Eric Leitzen. Eric and Emil were boys together in Denmark, where Emil's progenitors, especially his grandparents, were evangelists for the army. They built a wagon with beds in it, and they went around various places doing evangelistic work. And one of Emil's grandmothers was Jewish, and he attributed some of his rather strange and insightful progressions to her singing Jewish lullabies to him. But he was 5 years younger than Eric, and Eric used to knew of his working, but Eric was the star, because he even conducted the Danish National Band at the age of, 10, 12, somewhere in there. But they grew up together, so they were lifelong friends. When Eric came to Boston, later New York, and Washington in between, Emil headed for the Midwest, where he established himself. He also was on the West Coast. He did some arranging, he told me, for some of the early dance bands that were there. And he worked with Freddie Gruffet to help him with the orchestration of the Grand Canyon Suite when he was a very young player and a dance band arranger, but had never ventured into the formal aspects of orchestration. But be that as it may, when Eric and Emil said he was coming into town, he would like to go up to Eric's apartment and talk with him. So he always overstayed, and Eric would have to say, "Well, Emil, you can talk all you want, but Maria and I are going to bed, and you're welcome to stay here as long as you wish." But this time, Eric said to us in the department, "I'm not going to chase him. Let him talk as long as he wants." And so he did. And on into the night and so forth. And Maria kept bringing little snacks to them. And Emil finally said, "Oh, what's that?" And Eric says, "That's the sun, Emil." "Oh, the sun is coming up. I've talked way too long." He says, "I better leave he says, I'm sorry, I didn't know the time had passed by. So he excused himself, thanked Maria, and left. Maria comes out of the kitchen. She'd been up all night making these snacks, and she was roaring. She was laughing so hard she almost fell on the floor. And Eric says, well, what's so happy about that? Why are you so happy? And she said, well, you don't drink coffee, but I served Emil 8 pots of coffee, which he drank, and didn't go to the bathroom once.